Ask the city manager.
Yes.
Okay, we're calling Sherwood City Council May 7th, 2013.
Mike.
Okay, trying again. We're calling the regular city council meeting of City of Sherwood on May 7th, 2013 to order, please. Could we please? Yeah, good. I'd like to start with the Pledge of Allegiance, please.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call.
Mayor Middleton.
Here.
Council President Henderson.
Here.
Councilor Grant is absent. Councilor Folsom.
Here.
Councilor Butterfield.
Here.
Councilor Langer.
Here.
Councilor Clark.
Here.
Thank you.
Our first item on the agenda tonight is the consent calendar.
I'll move consent. I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Next is probably the thing I always look forward to the most is the bringing to the front the presentations from what people have done for our community. I would like to start tonight with Caleb Lindgren. Please come forward. Please have a seat there. Caleb has reached the high honor of becoming an Eagle Scout. And what we usually do when they come to us is we have them explain their project because they do so much for the community. We've had some just great projects, and they continue to happen. We have, I would say, we probably have one of the highest amount of Eagle Scouts in this community of any I've heard of. So, Caleb, do you want to tell us what you've done? You push the mic down, push it up.
Make sure it's up.
Yeah.
So south of Sherwood, there's a tree farm, Magnus Tree Farm, and they're working on building some trails to go to a little waterfall. And so I helped build one of those trails, about 300 feet of it on a hillside next to a creek, and it was gravel with some gardening fabric and a border.
How long did it take you to do it?
Planning was a couple months, and then we built it all in 2 Saturdays, so pretty good.
Great. Council?
How old are you?
14.
Yeah, I've known him since he was a very young child. Congratulations. It's young to get your eagle.
That's very young. We're really proud of you. And I'd like to present you with a certificate of achievement. Thank you very much. Really appreciate you. Okay. How do you say that name? Karsiski. Bill, William, please come forward. Go ahead. Yeah, push it. Make sure it's up, and then tell us what you've done.
Hello. My project was at the Good Neighbor Center in Tigard. It's a homeless shelter for families, and it was building 7 double-sized bed frames for each of the rooms. And so what we ended up doing in 2 Saturdays was work out the design and tweak some things, and then we also built the frames off the ground, and we stained them, sanded them, and then we delivered them on one more Saturday.
Well, I from the South want to thank you for what you've done. I know where that is. I think that's the one down by the Harley dealer. But I know where it is. Yeah. But this community would not be this community without what you people do for it. And these kids are doing fantastic projects. We got more coming down the pike that we've done. We've done things down in the park and all that. And I don't think we can thank them enough. So I'd like to give you a certificate of appreciation. And our last, I believe our last one tonight is Bill, Liam, Philip, Cliver. Please come forward with your parents. This was a very special project, and I'll go ahead and let you explain it to us. Oh.
Liam raised funds for the March Dimes so that he could help them fund the research to save sick and babies that were born early. And Liam was premature. He was 11 weeks premature and very ill. He had E. coli and meningitis and was on some life support measures for a long time. And we decided to find out where those measures were funded and who did it. And we found out it was March Dimes. So Liam took it upon himself to raise money, and he did jars, and he was their ambassador last year. So, yeah, that's what he's done.
We're very proud of you. It's very nice that you start so young giving back to your community. And I see you're on the Sherwood Dental Care baseball team also, correct? We'd like to also present you with a certificate of achievement and of recognition, and thank you so much for what you've done. Any comments?
I just have a comment. Counselor Clarkson, our children goes to the charter school, and we have a child in fourth grade. And this was a really extremely positive project that the kids went through, that they knew it came from somebody locally. And, you know, my kid was finding money wherever he could find it. Car, dad's wallet. I mean, wherever he could, he was finding money. And so they won the school-wide contest for raising the most amount of money in K through 8th grade, and they got to have a pizza party. And it made a really big impact on him that a kid younger than him would think this was, you know, something that he could start and make a difference. So, you know, it's a great thing that Liam did and that you supported him. So,
thank you.
So,
and my
hard
son,
act to follow.
My son is in her son's class that won, and we had the same experience at our house. Liam, you really started that competitive momentum of competitive giving, which that's a pretty great thing to be competitively giving. And yeah, he was finding it in mommy's purse, sister's wallet. Didn't totally go over as well, but he said, "Hey, it's for some sick kids." And she was like, all right, you're right. So thank you very much, Liam.
I'd like to present you with this certificate. Our next order of business tonight is the proclamation for National Police Week, and that will be presented by Chief Gall.
Gothall.
Growth, whatever.
Mayor, you wouldn't want that.
No.
Thank you, Mayor. Rather than read it, just the highlights. The Congress and the President of the United States several years ago declared May 12th through 18th, that entire week, as National Police Week. And so we feel it's important for the city to recognize the vital service that the Sherwood Police Department, the men and women of the department provide the Sherwood community. And celebrating and recognizing National Police Week gives us all an opportunity to remember the sacrifice that law enforcement officers make throughout our country, and specifically in Sherwood. There's very few professions where the folks are employed and know that at any point they may be required to lay their life on the line to do their duty and to protect others. And so certainly National Police Week remembers those that have done just exactly that. And for anybody that has been to Washington, D.C. to see the National Law Enforcement Memorial Wall, it's extremely moving. So this gives us an opportunity to remember that. So basically the proclamation resolves that the Sherwood City Council recognizes May 12th through 18th as National Police Week in Sherwood, and urges all citizens to recognize and thank law enforcement officers for the dedicated service they provide. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, and I wanted to thank the police department. They had asked me to speak at the at their memorial down here, but unfortunately, we had planned a vacation during that period of time. But otherwise, I would have definitely wanted to go down there and be part of it. I have gone back to the walls, so it's pretty impressive. The next proclamation is going to be from Public Works. It's the Proclamation National Public Works Week. Are they the same week or are they different weeks?
It's actually May 19th through May 25th. And this consists of your water, sewer, streets, public buildings, and solid waste collection, which is of vital importance to this community. This wouldn't happen without your dedicated staff here at the city, your public works professionals, including administrators, engineers, equipment operators, and skilled workers. We are going to be doing a couple events this year, one at Edie Ridge Elementary, 3rd grade, as well as at Hopkins, 3rd grade for that week. So about, I think it's 2-hour blocks. We're going to go in and actually do some instruction on public works and actually might get some equipment. And I think they're going to do some drawings of some calendars. So.
Thank you. Don't both your departments also go to the event at the fire department?
Yeah, we were going to have an equipment show for public to come in the evenings, but we tie that in with our community fair in June.
Correct.
So 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks afterwards. That's why we did something with the schools.
Well, thank you. You're all vital departments, obviously, in this city. The next presentation is going to be the Tualatin National Wildlife Refuge. Aaron Holmes. I know that's why you came tonight, to listen to Aaron.
Push up your button. Yeah, make it up. Yeah, so push it and let go.
And then let go.
There you go.
Okay. Thank you. They don't teach us in wildlife school how to do that. So my name is Aaron Holmes, and I'm the project leader of Tualatin River National Wildlife Refuge. And so we are, just to back up, I went into the UPS store the other day, and they started handing me their packages because I'm in our brand. So I'm not UPS. And I'm not the state, but what we are, we're part of the United States Fish and Wildlife Service. So we're under the Department of the Interior, and that's the same agency or department that has the Park Service, BLM, and a whole other slew of agencies. And so what I do is I manage a national wildlife refuge, which is a system of over 500 refuges throughout the country. And we have 19 million acres of land. We're the only agency in the world that has a wildlife first mission, which I think is pretty cool. But there's something very unique about Tualatin. And Tualatin is here not because we wanted to come here, although we fell in love with it after we got here, but we're here because of you guys and because of them. So back in 1992, I think you guys kind of saw Portland getting closer and closer. So wait a minute, we need to have some green space. And so some people on the city council and got on a plane, flew to Washington, D.C., and lo and behold, there's a National Wildlife Refuge in your backyard. I think it's really special, and I actually took this position mainly because your city logo has home of the Tualatin River National Wildlife Refuge. And to me, that was like, wow, these people really care. And so that's very special. So we are about 2,200 acres right now, and we have an acquisition boundary of about 8,000 acres. And not only are we here in Sherwood, but we're also over in Gaston, and that's near Hag Lake. And we recently just finalized a comprehensive conservation plan, which I think Tom and Joe read cover to cover. And so this plan outlines everything we want to do in this area. And the big thing is, so we do habitat, wildlife is important to us, but because this is an urban refuge, we're really focused on the people and we're focused on education. So there's a couple of new things that are going to be occurring. We're hoping to offer a waterfowl hunt program. We think it's really important to get people into the outdoors. We want to get kids that chance to hunt waterfowl. We're going to offer fishing. so we'll have an accessible fishing platform from the main wildlife center. So it's not, super quality fishing, but it's a chance for a kid to get out there and put a worm on a hook. And that's what our goal is. We're still purchasing land as long as we have money and willing sellers. But our number one thing is environmental education. And we've been really fortunate to work with the city of Sherwood and the school district. And we actually just had the alternative outdoor school. Outdoor school. I didn't grow up in Oregon, so this is completely new to me. But I guess the kids in 5th grade get to go to outdoor school. That's awesome. I went to McDonald's, so. But there are kids that are not able to go away for some reason or another. So the Refuge and the Friends group actually lead an alternative outdoor school. And so we were able to take them out for day trips to a place just down the road called Wesselwood. We hold teacher workshops. It's really important to us to teach the teacher how to teach the kids instead of just teaching the kids. And so right now we get over 100,000 visitors a year. And those are 100,000 visitors that we try to get into Sherwood. And so that's really important to us as well, is that we can say, go down the street and go to this business or this business. And in fact, last week we had 14 wildlife conservationists from Africa come to Sherwood and come to the Refuge. And so that was really cool. A new thing that we're focusing on is diversity. And we're realizing that we need to focus more on non-English cultures and groups. And so this year, we're putting together backpacks that we can check out that are all Spanish material. And we have some Russian literature, and we're just trying to reach everybody. And as far as it's really important for us to be a part of the city, and so I'm looking to you guys for ideas of how we can partner with you. I think environmental education, we want to work with you on that. We also really want to work with you on invasive species program. I don't know if you have anybody designated for that, but I do. She's pointing at someone. But we think it's really important because invasive species will take over. You do have some nutria swimming around in the Stella Olson Park, and so do we. They're prolific. And last year, the first case of spotted knapweed was spotted here in the Home Depot parking lot. So we want to provide expertise and any advice we can on that. And maybe we could do a work party sometime. And then we just thought, we just want to work with you in whatever way we can. We would love to help you leverage funding and grants for trails and interpretation and anything good. I think that's it. Yeah, questions?
Questions?
Yeah.
I want, we have such a good audience tonight. I want to confirm that we are one of only 10 urban wildlife refuges in the nation.
Yeah.
So we are extremely special, and it is an amazing thing. I think anyone who has children in our elementary schools, we generally go on field trips out there.
Yeah.
And it's beautiful. And you have, what I really love for my family is like around Halloween, you had a night hike.
Yeah.
And we got to see bats and very cool stuff. So as a mother of 5 children, I'm grateful, so grateful for all of the programs that you have. But understand that when my friends come from out of town, they love going there.
Oh, good.
Yeah, because
good.
we are
That's
special.
Good.
One of only 10 in the whole U.S.
Yes.
And the people who did this, 20 years ago, they really had a great vision. Yeah. And I'm very proud of the work that they did that brought all of you here.
Thank you. And it's amazing. We've been in national magazine. We last year we posted. I'll just show you guys real quick. So what that is it's a little girl who's jumping over a puddle. So it's part of, we don't, she may not know what that is or what that means, but she knows it's fun to be outside jumping over a puddle. And we put it on Twitter, and within, I think, 3 hours, there was like several 100,000 hits. And so it's a really special place. And we're going to have a bird festival on May 18th. And then we're going to be doing Creatures of the Night for Halloween. And also, I want to just say really quick that we have our first bald eagle nest that has a chick, and I encourage everybody to come out and look at the chick. It's really cute. So, okay, thank you.
Well, I want to thank you for coming. You've been a great addition to out there. I've taken personal tours with you, and I know you live in Sherwood, and you run marathons. Is that what it is? Or?
Triathlons.
Triathlons, yeah. So, yeah, a little difference. But well, thank you again, and I encourage everybody in here, if you've never gone out there, it's a lot of fun. And right now, the trails are open. They close. They shorten them until after
for the winter, but we just opened them on May 1st, and so you literally can get, just look at the eagle nest right there. So.
And it's free too.
Yeah,
so
free
for now. So anybody, really, I encourage you to go out there. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, now it's going to be citizen comments, but before we start, the city manager wants to make a brief statement, then I'm going to make a brief statement. City Manager Gall, please.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. I think it's safe to say that most of the audience here is here because of the Walmart announcement yesterday and want to testify during the non-agenda item period in front of their elected officials. So before we jump into that, I wanted to have Julia Hyduke, our Community Development Director, give a very brief snapshot of how we got here. Because although this came as a surprise to a lot of citizens, and we've been hearing ever since it was announced, a lot of folks didn't know this was on the horizon. It's been a long process. And I want to reiterate what that process, or have Julia go through that process, and also touch upon the criteria the city uses in making land use decisions. And then if you have any questions before we jump into citizen comment, we're available. And then obviously the mayor has a statement as well. So with that, Julia.
Okay, and I apologize in advance. I am reading to make sure I get the order right and all that stuff, so I apologize. And I also, there's been some confusion already. It sounds like the project name is Sherwood Town Center, which should not be confused with the Sherwood Town Center planning effort that's going on right now, which happens to be adjacent to where this development is. And I just want to put that out there because we're also doing that process, and that could cause some confusion. The Langer property is zoned light industrial. However, it received planned unit development approval in 1995 as part of the larger Langer Farms planned unit development, which allowed the commercial use as proposed. Other portions of the Langer Farms planned unit development include the Target site, Arbor Terrace subdivision, apartments around that area. The council reaffirmed that these commercial uses were allowed in a pre-existing planned unit development with the light industrial zoning in 2007 when they approved a minor modification to the planned unit development relating to the phasing of the remaining development portions. In July of 2012, Graymore Development submitted an application for site plan approval for the commercial development for 190,000 square feet of retail space, including a 145,000 square foot general retail tenant. The applicant did not indicate who the tenant was, nor did they have to. They only indicated that it was a 145,000 square foot general retail pad. The zoning code lists the type of uses allowed, and our reviews are based on that. For example, if someone were to come in for a 5,000 square foot oil change facility, we would not need to know whether or not it was Jiffy Lube or Oil Can Henry's. We would review it based on that use. The city does not have the authority to determine which businesses are able to locate in the city. The city can determine the types of uses that are allowed in certain areas and can prescribe standards such as building design, parking, landscaping, access, building height, etc., that can help ensure that it functions well within the community. The application materials allowed the city to review for these standards and to ensure compliance with the code requirements. Regarding the process that was followed when the application was submitted in 2012, after a review of the application materials for completeness, we send notice out to the public and affected agencies for review and comment. Public notice is mailed to property owners of record based on the tax assessor's records data within 1,000 feet of the project. In addition, notice is published in the Gazette, the Times, posted on the public notice boards at the library, City Hall, Senior Center, Albertsons, and the YMCA, and on the site. The Planning Commission considered the matter over the course of 3 public meetings, beginning with their public meeting on September 23rd, a continued meeting on October 23rd, and the meeting on November 6th. During the course of the hearing, the record was left open on 2 separate occasions to receive additional evidence. The Planning Commission deliberated and decided to conditionally approve the proposal after considering the public testimony, the evidence, and based their decision to approve the development on the findings of the project. The decision became final on November 26, 2012, when no appeals were filed to the City Council. The applicant must still obtain necessary building and engineering permits for construction and must comply with the conditions of approval that the decision is based upon. And on the city website, on the front page, there's information about the Walmart proposal, as well as links to the decision, all the materials that were put in front of the Planning Commission, and we certainly can answer questions from the public or the council if they have that as well.
So, Mayor, I just wanted to briefly go over that. I think when you take testimony, you're going to hear a lot of testimony. If you have questions as counselors for staff, we're here to try to answer them. That's all we have, unless you have specific questions at this time.
Everybody who wanted to speak tonight, please make sure you fill out one of the papers in the back so we have your name and address on here before you testify. And I'll call you in order that I received the forms. We have obviously have a full house tonight, and I would imagine it's mostly in regards to the Walmart issue, because we normally have not quite so many people. And please, tonight, don't take and do any personal attacks. It's not fair. I mean, we don't respond back to you. We listen to your testimony. We take it all in, and then later on, we review it, and then we'll go over it with staff too. But like I said, please don't take it personal. And as a council, we all get along. We all worked hard together. We don't all agree on everything, but we are very good, and we feel cohesive council. I just wanted to put that out there. Like I said, please fill out the forms. We encourage your testimony. That's what we're here for, to listen to you. Since there's so many, and it is actually a rule by this council, 4 minutes, you should be able to get your point across then, and I please encourage you, don't make any personal attacks. It's just not fair. Other than that, if you want to start your testimony, please.
I do have a question. I just want to reiterate something that, Julia, you said at the very beginning. They were not required to reveal who the tenant was, right? It was about the use.
That's correct. It's about the use.
And this Planning Commission did not know the tenant, and neither did council until it was released to the public.
It was not revealed to the public until Monday. There was certainly speculation at the Planning Commission meeting, but it was a speculation of several potential, and those were discussed. But they were not required to say. And in fact, in Tigard, where there's also a Walmart going in, it was originally proposed and approved as a target. The uses are basically the same. And so it really, again, we look at the use and how the use fits with the parking and the setbacks and the traffic and all that stuff, not the specific user.
Correct. And we, as a legislative body, can only speak to use. What you said at the beginning.
Correct.
We cannot control who the user is.
Correct. You can't say we like this coffee shop and not that coffee shop. You can say the coffee shop is appropriate in this location.
With that in mind, we want to hear from the public. So the first person, I only have actually 2 up here. So if you have one, please turn it in up here so we can go ahead and start the testimony. The first one is Tammy Steffens. Please state your address, please. Your name and address.
Tammy Steffens, 23617 Southwest Voss, here in Sherwood. And I have a much lighter, everybody can take a breath. I'm not going to be talking about the Walmart. Sorry to disappoint. I'm actually here I'm actually here on behalf of the Sherwood High School Booster Club. We have a fundraiser coming up that we'd like to invite the council, mayor, city employees, everybody here. This is a great opportunity for us to get the word out. Fundraisers for the Sherwood High School Booster Club are more important than ever because of the budget cuts that have occurred. In the last 2 years alone, the athletic budget, just that one line item on the budget, has been cut by over $140,000 in just 2 years. So fundraisers are vital for us. This one particular fundraiser raises about $6,000 in one day for us. It will be Saturday, May 18th, starting at 9 and going until approximately 3 o'clock in the Sherwood High School Sherwood High School parking lot. We partner with Newburgh Ford and invite everyone to come down and take a test drive. It's that easy. There's no pressure. In fact, you don't even, a lot of people here have done it. They can attest that there's truly no pressure. You actually ride along with a Booster Club member. So it's easy. If any local businesses here in town, we encourage you to send your employees down, maybe even give them the time off that they can come down and test drive a car. And then the Booster Club supports all the athletic teams at the high school, freshmen through JV, JV2 varsity level, freshmen through senior, boys, girls, fall, winter, spring. So it's, again, just really important. We rely on these fundraisers, so we hope everyone comes. Thank you.
What time, Tammy?
Starts at 9, and it will go until approximately 3. It just depends. We get, I think it's $20 per test drive. So if we get to, and then the limit is $6,000. So if we get to that $6,000 by 1 o'clock, then we're done. But approximately 2 or 3-ish.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Is it too late to get it on our bulletin for?
Oh, great. I'll send you I will email it to you. Thank you.
I wanna make a comment.
Yeah.
I have done this test drive, and it is ridiculously fun. It could not be an easier fundraiser for people who are attending. I took my 2 young children, and we waited in line, and the cars and the trucks come across, and you wait for the one that interests you. And my son was looking pretty hard at the high-heeled truck, what he calls it. But then the Mustang convertible came. Mm-hmm. And there was agreement that we must try the Mustang convertible. And the Booster Club rep, it's not like going with a dealer. He was like, let's take this out on Edie. And I may or may not have driven the stick Mustang convertible with the hair whipping and the kids going, woo, in the back. And it was a blast. And they still remember it. And it was 2 years ago. So
it's fun. And you get to pick the car you want.
It's amazing.
So.
It's so much fun.
Yeah.
It's a family-friendly event. So that's what I'm trying to say. It doesn't have to be just adults. Family-friendly event.
Thank you.
Any other council comment?
Thank you. Now, let the drama begin.
The first person, it will be R.J. Claus.
Robert James Claus, 22211 Southwest Pacific Highway. I have never heard such a falsified public record as we did tonight. Let's go back to what happened here. The Langers were in probate court. Now, Matt, you can deny this, but the problem is there's public record on it. And they went out and said this is light industrial property. We can't do anything with it. It's worth $1 to $5 a foot. And guess what happened? Mays and this council, with the exception of Middleton and Clark, turned it into a PUD with wide open zoning by referring back to the original zoning, none of which the rest of us operate under. Now, Councilman Fulton, you know that. Please. You gave the Langers a free ticket to do whatever they wanted to do. Now, bingo, bango, along came Walmart. Chuck Martinez, $15 a foot. 10 million smackarooskies just on that piece they gained. Now, I don't mind that. I loved I.R. Hayakawa when he said, after all, if us boys steal it fair and square, we ought to make sure they get to keep it. But here's my problem. Nobody knew that was Walmart. Oh, my goodness. Walmart just popped out of the wall and wrote down this and said, we want to go to Sherwood. That's baloney. Mays chased them off of Shannon and Broadhurst property and drove them over here. I don't mind that. That's fine. Keith was good at that. And your council was good at playing that game. Because after all, you're here to sell zoning or to get special favors for yourself. You don't represent citizens. And don't tell me you don't know this, because a lot of you do. Now let's go to the next step. The Planning Commission had no choice because you went back to earlier rules the rest of us don't play by. Now, I don't mind that. But I have to tell you, it gets amusing. We have a chief of police who wears a flak jacket and takes a gun when he comes here because Sherwood's so dangerous. Now, I used to think that was funny. I don't anymore. He stood up here and told you last week he was going to need more police. Now, anybody who thinks Walmart has the same profile that Target has is drunk, stupid, or doesn't know what they're talking about. You all know that as well as I do. But what you had to do is slip it under the mat, which is what you did with this staff, so you could cover up your loss of urban renewal funds. That's all fine. But here's what I don't like about it. You people have got the orphan routine more commonly than anybody I've ever seen, with the exception of two of you. You go out and murder your parents, and then you say, you've got to show me clemency. This cop stands up and tells us we put high-density apartments downtown with no parking. We now bring Walmart in, and we need more police because we're going to have more accidents. Oh, really? I mean, I can't believe it. Now, the way you stop that is the way you stopped it tonight. You put 4 minutes on because you have information overload if anybody tells you the truth, Councilman. I can't believe you people have shut down information. You haven't opened it up. And the way you do it is because you and your staff, you think you run this town. And Mays found out you didn't. And there's a couple of more councilmen here ought to find out the same thing. And Folsom, you lead the parade with Butterfield. You both know better, for golly sakes.
Okay, thank you. Come on. We got a lot of people to go through tonight. And I didn't want to interrupt, but please, please don't go after personal attacks here. You can attack me because it's been done before, but please don't. We want to keep it more generic what the issue is. Amanda Stanaway.
Hello. I'd rather go last, not first.
You want to go last? Okay, move. No. No.
Thank you.
Go ahead, Amanda. Please give your full name and your address.
Okay, my name is Amanda Christine Stanaway. I live on 2nd in Washington Street in Old Town, 16103 Southwest 2nd Street. I've been a resident in Sherwood since 2001, and I've just recently began getting involved because I can't stand it anymore. I did not know that we were having a Walmart in until I read it midweek paper, that an article that Ray Pitts put in the Gazette, and I find it difficult to swallow that you are both the developer of the property and on the council. That's really hard from a citizen's perspective. Walmart, I come at most things from an economics perspective. I've been an entrepreneur most of my life, and I've made a lot of money, and I've made next to nothing. And being an artistic person, that's what happens. And Walmart is kind of the worst picture of what America is today. And it degrades our culture and our communities, one community at a time. And in a time when We have people going into communities, blowing up things. It's really hard to watch on my own. And I'm a highly emotional person, obviously. I want a better tomorrow for my kids, not a worse one. And it might just be a store and $9 million for you. That might be what it is for you. And you can leave when your kids graduate from high school and move somewhere else. But some of us live here. And I think that might be all I have to say. But I have another minute and 33 seconds, so I might just sit here and make you look at me cry.
No, you don't have to use all 4 minutes.
It's really disappointing. And I've knocked on all of my neighbors' doors. And I've asked them to come. And I'm asking them to, if one thing I can thank you for is that you've made us all unite and we're all here tonight. Thank you for that, because we've needed to do it for a long, long time. As you can see, most of us are parents. And so we spend our evenings not at city council meetings, but at home, taking care of our children. And we don't have a lot of time, and things just keep sneaking through, you know? Like, who puts granite in the roads? Who does that? Who puts granite in the roads and expects the taxpayers to pay for it? When there's children, do you know we have a homeless problem in Sherwood? Do you know that? I've had 3 homeless people live with me this last year. Sherwood kids. They're in my house. I'm a single parent. It's ridiculous.
Thank you, Amanda. Okay, the next person wishing to testify is Lori Stevens.
Thank you, Mayor, Council. My name is Lori Diane Stevens, 15630 Farmer Way, Sherwood, Oregon 97140. First of all, I echo everything that my fellow residents said, but it's not the development that I think everyone is upset about and that protested. It's what went into the development. We all understand the rules, that we don't have to be told what's being put there. Unfortunately, if Walmart's who you sold out to, then that's who you sold out to. And we have no choice but to allow the monopoly to come into Sherwood. But again, it's the worst of this country. Walmart is being protested in every city that they try to come up in. They are still having protesters on their sidewalks in Raleigh Hills. They are not welcome. They outsource overseas to sweatshops where people make less than $38 a month to produce their goods. They're not controlled warehouses or sweatshops. People died. Bangladesh, does anybody remember that? 212 people this year died in a fire that Walmart contributed towards in an indirect way. Traffic. I live off Langer Parkway. I'm sorry, that traffic control of a roundabout is a joke. It's a peril. People have jumped the curb. People have been hit on bicycles. I'm a jogger. It's been dangerous. I've almost been hit. People don't understand the 2-lane concept. To bring that much traffic down a 2-lane street is just ridiculous. And then I don't even need to mention to anybody who's ever been on Tualatin and Sherwood Road what an issue. What an issue Tualatin and Sherwood Road is, and the thought that we would put 145,000 square foot big box stores with 6 restaurants and Lord knows how many parking spaces and traffic off of a 2-lane road that has the worst of traffic at just about any given time of the day, unless you want to travel between 1 a.m. and 4 a.m., it's just unfathomable to me, and it's ridiculous. And I also knew about the police asking for more staff. Walmart will not. There will be more crime. There will be more accidents. There will be more thefts. There will be more foot traffic of all kinds of different population, and it's just not okay. I get that you don't make the decisions, but I think just seeing this should be enough to show that this community feels very strongly about what comes into our community. I built my house in 1996. Sherwood's population was 8,000 people. We've watched big box after big box come up. Seriously, a town of 18,000 needs a ice arena and a Home Depot and a 10 cinema and now all the other stuff. That's not necessary in this area. We do not need another big box store, and especially Walmart. And again, it's not the complex so much as what it is. Thank you.
Thank you. Richard Rementeria. Sorry if I butchered your last name. Okay. You'll get to say it again.
This is on? Yeah. My name is Richard Rementeria. I have lived in Sherwood since January of 1996. Before that, I graduated from Newburgh High School. Haven't been in the area as long as the Langers. I hope people will appreciate the fact that the Langers were one of the families that lived here when Sherwood was a bump in the road with 2,000 people. And I think that they have the right, they've earned the right to have, and yes, they have some good fortune, and that goes with earning the right to do with what they want with their land, as long as it's within the zoning regulations. I mean, I'm hoping most of us still have an American dream where hard work pays off, and so I'd like people to just keep that in mind. Another concern that I have is that people are not, honestly, I guess I feel people have a pretty base reason for not wanting Walmart here. They feel like the customers at Walmart are not Sherwood kind of people. They must be Newburgh people, because Tigard's going to have their own Walmart, so I'm not sure where exactly these people are coming from. But the reality is that this store is only slightly larger than Target, and it's the exact same size as the Fred Meyer's that was recently built in Wilsonville. I strongly suspect that many of the people who are extremely upset about this wouldn't have been upset and wouldn't be here at this meeting if it was a Fred Meyer's. Now, I'll be honest with you guys. I would have preferred it was like a Bass Pro Shops myself, since Tualatin's already getting the Cabela's. But I just don't believe that people have a really clear, logical, unemotional reason for opposing this use. I think it's, it's hard for me to understand why traffic would be a bigger problem with a Walmart than it would be with a Fred Meyer's, unless they feel that this store is going to have a lot more customers per square foot than a Fred Meyer's would have, maybe. Certainly, there's a lot of traffic around the Target store here. But speaking of traffic, I would like to remind people that much of the traffic, since I live off Roy Rogers and I can see the traffic all day, but particularly during rush hour. And to me, it seems like most of the people are just passing through Sherwood. They're coming from Tualatin and going to Beaverton or Hillsborough, or they are going the other direction. But pretty clearly, when you see a line from 99 all the way down Roy Rogers past St. Paul's Church, those people are not coming from Sherwood. They're coming from out of Sherwood. So I really think when it gets down to it, people are really cheesed off about the particular use, and it's not my personal favorite. It wouldn't be what I chose, but I hope people will keep in mind that we need to maybe not be so hard on our fellow citizens and say, presumably people feel that there's nobody here in town who wants these customers here. So if the store is going to stay open, is it going to be because people come from out of town only to shop there? I have 10 seconds left, and I'm sure I'm going to get a lot of applause when I'm done.
Everybody's allowed to say what they want to say. It's an open forum. Thank you. Amelia.
I only have a few words to
You want
say.
to pull the mic down a little bit? And the buttons up? Go ahead.
I only have a few words to say.
Can you
but
give your first and last name and where you live, please?
My name's Amelia Stanway, and I live in Sherwood, Oregon.
That's good. Thank you.
I only have a few words to say, but they're better than nothing. Hi, my name is Amelia. I'm here to help you show what will happen in the future if you put a Walmart in Sherwood. Sherwood businesses will have negative problems, and that is very bad. Walmart does not pay their employees a living wage. That means they pay them less than what it costs to live, and those individuals go on welfare. When they go on welfare, it's not good for the community or the government. If Walmart comes to Sherwood, it will destroy our community in some way. Thank you.
Thank you, Amelia. I wish that everybody would get involved starting at about her age, and not for negative things or positive things, just to get involved with the city. I really appreciate it. Victor Polanco. Oh, good. Another young one. Victor, your name and your address, please.
I'm Victor Blanco. I live on 16464 Southwest Cornish Court in Sherwood. And I'd like to say a few things about Walmart. So, Walmart used to be my favorite store. Like, I had a book, and it's like, what's your favorite store? What's your favorite food? And for my favorite store, I put down Walmart. And then one day, my brother showed me a documentary on Walmart, and it showed terrible living conditions in Asian and other countries where they're not paid much, they're not fed much, and it doesn't cost Walmart really that much to make a shirt, and they sell it for a lot more than what they pay into it. And yeah, again, with the person that just spoke, they're not, the employees in America aren't paid much. They have to go on the state's medical and dental cares because Walmart's is too high, and they're not paid enough to get Walmart's care. And yeah.
Thank you very much. Dean Boswell.
Hello, my name's Dean Boswell. I live at 22796 Southwest Lincoln Street, Sherwood, Oregon. You guys are lucky. You've got 4-minute timer. None of my friends are that lucky. I'm one of the most long-winded people in the world. So I've been all over the world. I lived in California till I was 10, Washington till I was 20, served 6 years in the military, lived in upstate New York, Germany, been to Haiti. I've driven in every state that hits I-90 and I-5. I've been to Canada. My wife and I were both American, but we got married in Denmark. I've been all over the world. And I have to say, without a shadow of a doubt, every single community that I have seen Walmart come to has ended tragically. And when I say tragically, I'm going to give you an example. I'm going to give you a local example, and you take it for what it's worth. You go to Woodburn, and you go from Walmart and to where the outlet stores are, and you go past outlet stores, and you go by the neighborhoods. And you'll see men standing on the corner, and you'll see the car behind you or the car ahead of you drive by. And you may not see it, but they flash a gang sign. And the person on the corner flashes a gang sign and then points. And then they go to the next corner, and the same thing happens till they find the drug house. I'm not exaggerating. I spent several years in Federal Way, Washington when I was in my teens, and I watched it from the Hill in Tacoma. And my girlfriend's mom would point it out and say, look at these guys. These guys are dealing drugs. Watch them. And you'd see the car look, and you'd see the guy, and he'd point and do the gang sign. That's the kind of people who are now living around Walmart in Woodburn. I came to this community. This is the community I've been here the longest. I've never lived anywhere for more than 4 years. I've lived here for 10. Okay, I have my kids in school here. I've got friends here. I've got friends here with small businesses that cry out to you guys to do things to try to help the small businesses. Somebody complained about parking. You know, they've cried out about the parking issue, and what happens is we redo the streets downtown, and each corner loses 2 parking spaces. We're a community. We are a growing community, but we're still a small community, and we're a community of people that care about each other. Even the people that don't like me or I don't like, we're at least civil to each other. You're not going to get that in many communities, and you'll stop getting that here with a Walmart. I don't know if there's anything we can do. I don't know if there's anything any of you want to do or willing to put up a fight. I don't have money for lawyers, but I'm sure as a community we can raise awareness and we can raise what needs to be raised to work together to stop this. It's great. I want business to happen, and there's big business that helps people. We look at Trader Joe's. Trader Joe's is a great business. They do a lot of local stuff. They're building huge up in Washington because Washington's open arms to them. Why can't we be that way with somebody like Trader Joe's, where they pay people decent wages, they give people a full 40 hours, and don't try to shirk you, oh, we're only getting you 30 so we don't have to give you insurance. So, you know, I know somebody complained about the people who come to Walmart. I don't care. Everybody's got to shop. But I do care about the activity that goes on once a Walmart moves in, the kind of people that it doesn't bring to shop here, but the people it brings to live here. Because we are a small community, and we're together, and we have to do something to make this work and work well. And I'm going to leave with this note. I don't know the full situation of everybody on the council, but I do know that if somebody on the council has sold land, there's a conflict of interest.
All right, thank you. The next person is Peter Sternkopf.
Good evening. My name is Peter Van Roo Sternkopf. I live 28288 Southwest Lad Hill Road. I know it's technically in Sherwood, but we're in Clackamas County. I'm also the newly elected Sherwood High School PAC president. And I happen to be in the legal field. Now, I'm not an attorney, but I work with attorneys, paralegals, corporate counsel, and we work with a lot of large corporations. Now, Walmart is the #2 largest corporation in America. Anybody want to guess what their annual revenues are? $446,950,000,000 a year. So I guess you got a part of their pocket there, Matt. But their profits are $15,699,000,000. Now, in the legal field, a conflict of interest means what? It's very simple. If there's a part of an action that you're involved in, a proceeding, a court case, any of those types of activities that you have a personal interest in it, and there's a possibility that the decisions you make or that you influence other people to make a decision, then that's a conflict of interest. Attorneys face it, judges face it, city councils face it. And in our opinion, as a community, and I think I can speak for a lot of people that I know that we've had that discussion, that's a conflict of interest. Now, Walmart is a brand store that people are not having great success with. So there's obviously an issue there. Walmart's not changing their image. They're not changing how they do business. They're impacting communities in a negative way. So the Oregon law is what it is. They will pay for some of the road expansion. They're bound by law to do some, or by, I guess, code. But it's going to negatively impact this community. Now, we've lived here for 7 years, 5 years previously in Tigard. We came to this community because it's special, very special. But, I mean, I said to my wife tonight, I said, gosh, I don't think we're going to buy another house. Perhaps we should consider moving to another community that's special. Because if Sherwood's going to turn into the communities we know, and we truly adore the people here. I mean, they're really good people. It's very, very different than anywhere else I've lived. And I was in the military as well, so I've been around. And this is truly a special community. So we hate to see it go down south. Now, is anybody from Walmart here tonight? Is there a representative from Walmart here tonight? Because that's who we need to address as a community, is the Walmart people. I mean, again, I think there's some legal action or some legal precedents here of possible conflict of interest that should be looked into. That's very important. But beyond that, I think Walmart needs to be addressed. And the people opposing the corporation itself have a better chance of keeping them from coming into our community. I know that's happened in a couple communities around the country. But so real quick question, Mayor Middleton, what opportunities did you take to invite other big box stores into our community as opposed to Walmart? Did you have an opportunity to go and talk to Trader Joe's, for example, or Whole Foods or any of those companies, or did you not have enough tenure to do so?
I'd like to ask, we did not, that's not our involvement. I don't know if anybody else did, but we don't answer questions usually during this period of time. We just take your input.
I just didn't hear that during the process that you described. So,
but we don't get involved in the choosing or anything of that nature.
All righty. Thank you.
So the reason there's no conflict of interest is we never had anything to vote on. Maybe you should ask the attorney to answer that question.
Oh, sorry. Trish Goldstein, I had turned it off.
Okay. Good evening. My name is Patricia Goldstein. I live at 18096 Southwest Hanley Street in Sherwood. I think that somebody said ticked off or clicked off. I'm not sure what the statement was. I think a lot of people here feel as though they've been sold out to a certain degree. I feel as though, and I'm speaking just on my own behalf and the behalf of my family, who has been severely impacted by Walmart in one aspect of my family. And my mother-in-law worked for them as management for quite some time. And when she developed cancer, because they forced her to work 50 plus hours a week and paid her for 40, they tried to cut her benefits when she was out getting chemotherapy. So this is not the kind of company that I would like any of my friends or my family or anybody else I know to be working for. So the fact that they would be generating jobs to me is laughable. So I think the fact that what's really frustrating a lot of people is that you don't ask who's going to be moving in there, so we don't have any idea necessarily. And if there have been rumors floating around for quite some time, and I do know that. I also moved here in 2006 with my 5 children because it was a phenomenal place. I never locked my door. I left my keys in the car because I'm a dinghy, and I didn't really worry about it. But unfortunately, I think, and to actually go against what I believe one gentleman was saying, I think he was alluding to snootiness in Sherwood, which we all know there is. But I think if you're talking grassroots, people are concerned for the safety of their children, and that's why we're here. We're also concerned with the fact that this is impacting so many people on so many levels. The neat thing about living here is the eclectic group of individuals here who live here, the business owners and everybody else, and everybody who has gained their ground in their life because of what they've done and how that all feeds in. But these people who have these businesses still are going to be highly impacted by them. The people, I know understandingly that the big box stores are slowly moving in. From my understanding, when Target opened up its produce department or its food department, Albertsons and Safeway both had to lay some people off or cut back hours, which greatly impacted the community. It's going to be such a devastating impact, and I think that's everybody's concerned about. So, you know, if we're not allowed to know who's going to be moving in, how do we change that rule? Because I think we have the right. I pay $7,300 a year in property taxes. I think I have the right to know what's coming into my community. So here's the other aspect. So Walmart's moving in. Do they pay property taxes? Where's the revenue going to come to? What does a Sherwood gain out of this? And where is that money being earmarked for? What is going to happen with that? I know you guys aren't supposed to answer questions, but these are things I've been pondering or running around in my mind for the last 24 hours. So we see what a horrendous negative impact this is going to be. What positive is this going to bring to us? Is there going to be a positive? Am I going to have to worry about locking my son's bike up in the garage now because I left it on the lawn, Mom. Oh, never mind, it's gone now. You know, and I'm not talking about drawing people in, but the more people you draw through and through and through, the more incidents there are going to happen, and the police department knows that. So I think we really need to look at this truly from every aspect, and I don't believe that any of us are ignorant, and I think everybody deserves the right to speak their mind. So thank you.
Thank you very much. I hate to do this, but I'm dying up here. I've got to go take a 10-minute break, if that's okay. Everybody go out and get fresh air, and then we'll get some air in here. So it'll be 10 minutes. 8:20, we'll start again.
Yes, yeah.
Lori Randall. Is Lori Randall out there? Oh, she's way in the back. Come on, Lori. Start the timer.
Hey, just remember, girls.
Hi, I'm Lori Randall, 22710 Southwest Orchid Place in Sherwood, right across what will eventually be the housing for the Walmart employees. It's wonderful. There's no parking, but they won't be able to afford cars anyway. So I'm obviously not here in support of Walmart. One of the interesting comments in the newspaper was that people thought that everybody in Sherwood, or most people in Sherwood, would approve of this. Without turning around, if I ask people to raise their hand that they're in favor of it, there's not a lot of hands behind me. So, is there any hands up behind me? Yep. Seriously. All right, fair enough. But that kind of tells you how most of the citizens feel. If I'm going to do everything in my power to find a way to stop Walmart from coming. If I do not, I am going to boycott Walmart as well as every other store in that mall. And I hope others would follow suit. If it had been I thought Kohl's was a wonderful addition to Sherwood. I would have welcomed Trader Joe's. We have 2 grocery stores. Trader Joe's would have been an addition, would have been a complement to what we have. Walmart is in addition. It's a third grocery store we don't need. It's a third everything we don't need. We all know about their sweatshop conditions, the fact that their employees are paid nothing and are on public assistance in huge numbers. I think if you look around, and I did today, at all of the stores, I noticed the scrapbook stores going out of business. Never thought that would happen. If you look around at every strip mall in Sherwood, you're going to see a lot of vacant businesses, a lot of empty spaces. Walmart is only going to make that worse. Talk about parking. I'd like to know, just kind of, my neighbor pointed out to me the no parking sign that's now up across from my house. Where the apartments start, there's parking all the way back to that very dangerous curve where people coming around the curve on Willamette are going to crash into cars unless they move into the left lane where they will hit a car coming, the other way. But everything from the apartments down is now no parking because apparently it pushes out too far. Where was somebody looking at this stuff? You've just taken away that many more parking spots, including the parking spots for the people who live there. They now can't park in front of their own houses. You should come down and look because you're looking like you haven't seen this sign. I was kind of disgusted. But Tualatin, Sherwood, and Langer, please. It's only going to make living on Willamette that much worse. I suspect that the restaurants that I read about are going to be fast food. I am a poster child for why this town does not need fast food. Okay, so I go for my iced teas at McDonald's. But I hope there is never another fast food shop in this town. I've lived here 18 years. When I was looking for a home, if I had seen Walmart here, I would have kept on driving. I don't know what else there is to say. So, 4, 3, 2, 1. Thank you.
Thank you, Lori. Patty Spreen. We have a Patty Spreen here.
Is it on? Yeah. Okay. Hi, I'm Patty Spreen, and I live at 20488 Southwest Lavender Place in Sherwood. I got word of this last night via the Portland Tribune and then shortly thereafter the Sherwood Gazette. I suppose my outrage truly comes from the fact that it really was a backdoor situation. And if you deny that, it's unacceptable. And it's unacceptable on behalf of the Sherwood residents. It's not fair to the children. It's not fair to the community. It's one thing to accept and try to move forward peacefully and just make things work. But when we are left with a situation that we don't hear about who the retailer is going to be until 3 weeks? They're breaking ground in 3 weeks. May 24th. June 24th. That's acceptable. 6 weeks before they break ground, and you're okay with that. You can sleep at night. You can look up from your hill.
Let's not make it real personal. Address the whole council, okay? Thank you.
It's very personal. It's personal to me. I'm trembling.
It is. I understand,
on the
but
I'm trembling. This is not my
nature. And I appreciate you testifying too.
Okay, but the bottom line is the traffic. That's not rocket science, people. We know what's going on in our town with the traffic and the parking. We as a family chose Sherwood in 2004 from Tualatin. We lived in Tualatin for 2.5 years. I decided to grow our family, and we wanted to move to a quaint place. Sherwood was it. We have amazing schools. We have amazing people. And Walmart just doesn't fit the Sherwood mold. And I know that sounds pretentious, but that's not what I'm getting at. I mean, I spend $5,800 a year in my taxes. And I thought I was restoring Old Town and bringing growth to small business downtown. And I was under the impression was happening. We have amazing restaurants down there. We have amazing stores down there. We have amazing people filled with heart that want nothing more than our town to grow. And so many of our roads and our parks are named after Langer. And he's the one that sells out. And I'm sorry to make it personal, Mr. Langer, but it is. It really, truly, truly is. You have let down this community. You really have, sir. And how you sleep, that's your own karma, sir. A few other things I just want to touch base on, just to statistical type things, is the crime. We do have our big box store of Target. Walmart's going to be right next door. People want to say they're similar. Sure, they're similar in a lot of ways, but when it comes to crime, absolutely not. I'm going to have to watch over my shoulder now, and so are my children. And my children are 6 and 13, and that's not right. That's not why I chose Sherwood. That's not why I'm paying $5,800 a year in property tax. And so I have to look over my shoulder. We're going to need more of a police presence. Who's going to pay for that? Who is going to pay for that police presence? So Mr. Langer could walk away with his padded pocket. The carbon footprint, it's not rocket science. The carbon footprint that we just had the gal come up from the Fish and Wildlife speak. That's amazing. That's amazing. We're rated the 18th most livable city in the United States. How rad is that? That's amazing. Not anymore. Not anymore. Thank you, Mr. Langer.
Jennifer Harris. Jennifer Harris.
Hello, my name's Jennifer Harris. I live at 21484 Southwest Rolick Avenue in Sherwood. What else am I supposed to say?
Okay. Your comment.
I can give you lots of statistics, studies about 32 Walmart stores with 770 crimes per year on average, and Target stores in the exact same square mileage, 30 of them with 170 crimes. I can tell you that Target and Walmart are not the same. I can tell you all kinds of things about how Walmart doesn't pay us enough. Everybody knows these things. It's public record. We know it. I also know that most of you didn't have a choice. You had to follow the rules that were set out for you. And I know because several people have talked to me off the record that they do not support a Walmart. And I know some of you are sitting up there, and I recognize that. I have children in the community. I agree with what everyone has said up here, especially the children. I can show you statistics about what kind of crimes they are. I can show you statistics about the police and the communities that have tried to get together with Walmart and work out their parking lot issues that they're having crime with. And I can show you quotes from Walmart employees that say, no, we don't really care about the crime. That's the city's problem. I can show you all of that. Everybody knows it. But what I'm really here is because we need to come together as a community, and this was the biggest forum I could find to bring us together. So I know that Walmart is who we have to fight. You guys can't do anything to help us except join our fight. And that's why I'm here. Somebody up here was saying, oh, the other box stores have this, and this is pretty normal. The reality is, just because you can take advantage of someone doesn't mean you should. So we need to grassroots efforts to fight the Langers, to fight Walmart. Walmart has a history of pulling out when it gets too messy for them. They don't like their dirty laundry aired. It's public knowledge. Everybody knows it. You guys know it. Hands were tied. I understand, Mr. Middleton, that it was done before you were even really here. So the reality is that as a community, this is a small group. We have 18,000 people in Sherwood. There should be 10,000 people out here, not 100, 10,000. And I think the reality is there is a large group that I think Mr. Langer was quoted. There is a large group that is fine with Walmart coming in here. But I think there's a larger group that is not fine with it. And we have to. Thank you. We have to bring that group together. And you're welcome to join us. We'd love to have you. There is movement in voices and numbers and powers. But really, we need you people back there. Spread the word and get out and do what we need to do. And local businesses, we need you even harder, because guess what? 1% of Walmart's income comes back to the community. Guess where the other 99% goes? Chicago. That's where they send their money, Chicago. They don't keep it in Bank of Oswego. They don't send it to the schools. They do what they need to do to pacify the 70 that are here. Let's not be pacified. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Next is Elizabeth Farnham.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor and City Council. My name is Elizabeth Farnham, 16933 Southwest Cobblestone Drive. She very eloquently said everything that I was actually going to ask. My question was tonight to you, what can we do to stop this? And I realize that you're not taking questions, but I wanted to put it out there on the record. What can we do to stop this? And my second question, why would we zone for a very large store like that when we already have so many in our small town? So those are just my two questions.
Thank you. Brian Larson.
Thank you. Brian Larson, 22813 Southwest Saunders Drive. I'm going to be reiterating a lot of what's already been said here, but just a couple of things that I've noticed. Originally, when we were, or you were clarifying what's required in this process, it was quoted several times that they're not required to tell us what store that's being represented or being planned for this. One of the council members then asked 2 or 3 times, we didn't know. Is that correct? We didn't know. I just noticed the language in response was always, they're not required to tell us. Didn't really answer the question. I don't know, that to me, that says something. Failing to answer the question answers it for me. Along those same lines, you talked about what was done to notify the public along the way. The word, this was backdoored in, comes to mind. There are things you can do to let people know. If some of the suspects had been discussed more publicly, I think you would have got a turnout like this a lot sooner, rather than people finding out yesterday. My opinion of the city council is that you're serving us in the city. In my view, that was not doing either. The conflict of interest has been discussed, rightly so. At best, you could say that that's certainly not a case of full disclosure. At worst, you can say that's borderline fraudulent. I think from a legal standpoint, that absolutely needs to be looked into. You've got a desperate community here. I think we should exhaust all resources. If that wasn't playing by the rules, then that should be investigated. You had a very nice young lady up here talking about the vision for Sherwood and about the wildlife refuge and so forth. All things that fit with what Sherwood is and why we all live here. This is an example of exactly not that. That doesn't fit with Sherwood's vision. I'm not sure whoever thought it did. The point about why this zoning was changed to begin with, when we clearly don't need that, raises some questions as well. Bear with me. I'm just trying to make sure I cover my points here before I run out of time. There's been lots of innuendo and rumor about this, and frankly, it's all come upon all of us very quickly. I'd heard today, and I know you're not answering questions, that because of the zoning in this case and being a part of the urban growth boundary, that there's stipulations with the tax revenue that we supposedly will receive from Walmart, whoever is in place there. And that's taken into account whatever kind of tax breaks they got. I'm not sure when that becomes public, if it does. But I had heard that because of the zoning there, that those tax dollars cannot even be used for our schools and public safety. That could be pure rumor, I don't know, but that was posted on a number of sites today. I think the community would like to know the answer to that. Make make sure I've got everything covered here. You'd made the comment, Mayor Middleton, and I realize you're new here, and I realize there are a few of you that probably were not in favor of this. But you made the comment that you don't get involved in this process. It basically runs itself, and there are limitations and so forth to what you can do. In my view, based on one thing and everything that I've heard here today, I think at least one of you was involved in the process. And again, whether or not that should have been the case, I think is a question that everybody is going to want answered. I would just encourage everyone to check the Gazette website if you want to see more opinions and responses and hear more ideas like's been represented here today. You'll see many more there. I guess that's my time, so thank you for listening.
Good evening. I am Dawn Sword-Pastores. I live at 17091 Southwest Cobblestone Drive in Sherwood. And I mostly just wanted to reiterate a couple of things. And one thing is that I love Sherwood. I grew up in Aloha. And I remember driving by Sherwood when it had, 1,000 people. And I remember when McDonald's went in, and that was a big, huge deal. And I'm sure that the city council heard about it then. But as I've been sitting in here and I'm looking at the City of Sherwood mission statement, and I am a business development consultant. I'm a small business professional, and I like to help small businesses. And one, I don't know that this decision is living into that mission, which makes me question the leadership in general, because as somebody who is on different boards, I try to take into consideration who I'm serving. And you guys, I appreciate the service that you're providing, but Walmart is a huge decision, and sending out legally, you only had to send it out to what did you guys say, 1,000 feet from the building or whatever? Nobody lives 1,000 feet from that area. I mean, the majority has to live over here. So going the extra mile on that one could have been helpful. That's a suggestion. But I want to say that Sherwood is an awesome place, and it reminds me a lot of times of Ashland. And you may be familiar with Ashland, Oregon, but they don't have big box stores in Ashland. They don't even have McDonald's. They tried to have a McDonald's, and the citizens wouldn't have it. It closed down. And I don't know I've not heard of very many McDonald's not surviving. I mean, they have $1 sodas for the love. But I'm concerned about all the small businesses in our community that make us special. There's Mud Puddles. There's all of the downtown businesses. And when Walmart comes in, Walmart brings with it a series or a bunch of services, nails technicians and hairdo places and eyeglasses, and same thing that Fred Meyers would have done. And just to go on record, I wouldn't have supported a Fred Meyers either. I'm not for that. I think Sherwood has a lot to offer, and part of our uniqueness is the fact that we support the citizens that live in this community. We do that through supporting their small business. If that land was going to be developed, it would have been nice to know which direction we were going, so we could have had this discussion. And there are companies who are large that could give profit to whoever is getting it or whatever that situation is, that would be more, would be services that would be not competing with some of the other services and adding and benefiting us in other ways. I don't even know really how we expect to support all this business as citizens of Sherwood. There's 18,000 of us. How are we all going to support Walmart, Target, Kohl's? There's 2 grocery stores, which I already thought was one too many. I mean, how are we supposed to do all of that anyways? That has to require people coming from the outside, because there's no way we can do it. We're not a big enough base. So when you start bringing people in, and it's not because I don't like other people, it just brings more opportunity for more things to happen. That's all. And I am absolutely with Jennifer. We are going to do what we have to do, just like we did in Hillsborough, to stop them from opening their doors here in this town.
Thank you. Beth Cook. Beth here? Cook? Ah, there we go.
Good evening. For the record, my name is Beth Cook, and I live at 23598 Southwest McLaughlin Court in Sherwood. I'm actually a new resident. I moved here in 2011, so fairly new to the community and have not been as involved yet in this body as I would like. But I did want to go on record in strict opposition to Walmart joining our community. Unfortunately, Walmart has a very well-documented history as one of the worst employers in the country. I think many have spoken to that already this evening. Their employment practices are not reflective of even a base level labor standard. Again, as a new resident, I'm going to tell you, and I apologize if my voice is shaking. I actually came here straight from work, not eaten, but I'll tell you something, Sherwood can and should do better, and it's not too late. I urge City Council to join with us and explore ways to protect the citizens of Sherwood and our local small employers, those that treat their employees as family, those that support their employees by providing necessary benefits such as fair wages, earned sick leave, and affordable health care. I urge you to look at what this would actually mean for our community, for the workers of our community, and take action to help protect our small business employers. Thank you.
Thank you. Sarah Hagan.
Good evening. My name is Sarah Hagan. I live at 22471 Southwest Murdoch Road here in Sherwood. Again, nothing particularly new to add to what's already been shared this evening, but just a little bit, I guess, from my household that my husband's like, I really want you to go because, I'm going to get emotional too. I didn't expect that. We are first-time homeowners. It has been a struggle for us. We've been married 9 years. When we started looking for a place to bring our family, we looked all over the area. We are committed to me being home with our girls while they're young and have made a lot of sacrifices. I am the Walmart demographic, but I don't want it here. My concerns, there's the traffic, there's the environment, every Walmart I've ever seen is 24 hours, and they allow you to park overnight in their lots, any RV, any motorhome, my parents' RV, and that's where they stop when they're doing the road trip down I-5, is they stop at the Walmart and park overnight. If this is a 24-hour Walmart, you're talking about a lot of increased traffic. I don't know if there are issues within zoning that could be done. I guess I'm asking, for the things that can be done, can we please do them? This is a start of the community interest and the community kind of, I think for most of us being aware of this. I found out about it on Facebook because I am a Facebook mom. The other thing that I have questions about is we love the National Wildlife Refuge, and we happen to know that our property and a lot of property around this property is part of the National Wildlife Refuge. And I'm concerned about environmental impact. I'm sure that there have been some studies done, but there's a lot of nationally set aside non-display areas there for the birds to winter over, to nest in and such. And I do have some concern about the environmental impact. And I'm sure that there have been some studies, but perhaps some further studies. But that's really all I have to say, and I'll leave my minute and 43 to somebody else.
Thank you very much. Josh, I believe it's Hagenberger. Heiberger, sorry.
All right. Am I on? All right. I'm Josh Heiberger, 22435 Southwest Nottingham Court. I'm kind of resistant to come here tonight. I do have a lot on the line. I imagine there's a few ladies back there texting right now that I'm up here. But anyway, I just want to start out. This is nothing personal, okay? This is from more of a business standpoint and community standpoint, and really is targeted at who's coming in, and that's Walmart. I've been a resident here almost 10 years. We moved here for that, small town family environment, the low crime rate, the great schools, just the atmosphere in this community. I come from, my family history is in a lot of land development, construction. I get it. I'm not here to, I get it. It's America. We live here. You can develop your property. Great opportunity presents itself. That's what you do. Again, I'm here because of who was selected to come here, and that's Walmart. Didn't have a lot of time. I found out about 11:30 last night. I read the article. Was at work 11 and rushed to practice. That's why I'm in this attire. I apologize, coaching kids. Amazingly, though, within 10 minutes of a quick Google search, you can find about 100,000 websites that oppose Walmart. And that does show a little bit of something. And I got a ton of stats here that I could sit here and rattle off. But my big concern is not where Sherwood is going to be in a year, as much as it is where it's going to be in 10, 15 years. I moved here for the long haul. My kids go to an awesome school. It happens to be across where this is going in, but if I had issues with land development, I should have been here several years ago. Okay, that's not the case. But yeah, it's the long haul. I do work for the Department of Corrections. I work in an intake center. I see 400, 500 inmates come through a month. I sit with those inmates. I know the communities they come from, where they are at, where they live, and the environment. And you look at the demographic and where they come from, and it's not Sherwood. And we should be proud of that. We have something here we should be proud of. That's why I moved here. My fear as we move out of this community, because it becomes something we don't want it to, and those that do move in, because of what we offer, like the low-income jobs and stuff that Walmart may bring. And as we move into this one big strip club, Beaverton, Hillsborough style living, is where we'll be in the long term. I want to be able to stay here. I want to be proud. I don't need applause. It's just, I'm not going to lie. This is kind of a gut. I don't know why I'm going before you guys. Like I said, I'm all for development, the opportunity. You know what? Sometimes anchor stores provide a great opportunity for small businesses to move in around it and thrive off of who's coming in. But really, it's just this data, the crime rate, the costs, the transportation, who's going to be supporting that, the families that are living here, where are we going to be at in 10 years? And that's what I'm really hard to swallow. It was just this Walmart and what it brings. It was just kind of a low blow a little bit. I apologize for taking up your time. Like I said, this is not personal whatsoever. It's just I don't Facebook. My Twitter followers are pretty much me only. I felt like if I'm going to lose sleep over this, I got to be able to come and present and just get my word out there. I guess, thanks. Sorry to take up your time, but it is what it is. Thanks, guys. I appreciate it.
Thank you. I just want to make a quick comment. Never worry about coming to us. We love to hear your comments. This is fantastic tonight. I love hearing it all. The last one I have, and if anybody else wanted to testify, please make sure they get their form up here, is Dan Edelstein.
I think we may be out of forms to fill out. Do we have extras somewhere?
We'll get some more.
My name is Dan Edelstein. I live at 23773 Scott Ridge Terrace. I appreciate the opportunity to voice my opinion at the city council meeting, but what's absent from this forum is information and dialogue between the citizens and the city management. And I'd like to find out how we can get a roundtable discussion on developments or situations that are going to impact the community. That we know that there's going to, as citizens, we know that there's going to be an impact on the infrastructure and services. Have there been impact reports? And how are those revealed or put up for discussion with the citizens? those impacts are going to affect our tax dollars, and it becomes a tax without representation. We don't have any say. We have 60 days before it comes up, before that groundbreaking. It really has the appearance of a backdoor deal. People have brought up discussions of conflict of interest, and it doesn't seem fair, and it doesn't seem like it doesn't seem like you folks are laying out and representing the thoughts and feelings of the community. So that's my point. And on future, I would like to hear how the citizens can have a dialogue. And so you can't answer that. So perhaps you can print something out that will. Yeah, if you let us know. But 60 days prior to the groundbreaking does not seem doesn't seem like a fair deal. Yeah, I'll end with that.
Thank you. And I think staff could come up with how the process works, and we will get that to the public so that you do have an understanding of how this process works. It's not something we try and hide. It's just something that, like I was saying, we will go ahead and Julia will put out something to start from ground zero, how you rezone and all that. She will post that for us, correct?
So, Mayor, just to clarify, because we won't have all of their attention later, right. Where can they look for that?
Correct.
And how will it appear? Would it be a good idea for it to appear in the Archer and then online at the city website? Because I do believe there's already a link on the city website for the citizens about this issue. Is that correct?
I'm sorry, Council, I missed the question slightly, but in terms of finding information, so folks know, is that your question? Where do they go to?
Well, what I think we keep hearing is a lot of people asking questions, but in the essence of time, we're not answering question by question, but I know you're writing frantically over there so that we can address them. So where can they go to get the answers?
Is it okay for me to respond?
It's 9 o'clock.
Yeah, so I heard a couple of things. One, the mayor asked for just a process, which is fairly, here's the planning process, here's how it works. That's, it could be a 1 or 2 page handout and could be done fairly quickly. And we could post up on the city's webpage. There's a link for information on the news links that says Walmart is coming to Sherwood, I think. And so probably under that link, we can have information about, the planning process, or we can have some information there on that front page news link. I'm not sure exactly what it would say, but we would make sure it does. And we also, I can certainly offer, we've gotten, and I would need Sylvia's help, we've gotten addresses and names of all the people that have testified, and we certainly can offer to mail that information as well.
That seems very reasonable. And Sylvia is our city recorder, so she is keeping track of all of the forms, and that's why it's important to give them to her.
Just a clarification. I think that the mailing an answer is a good idea, but I think that a lot of the people in the room are looking for an answer, and so if there is a process that we can pose the question and then reflect the answer, I think that would be helpful to the public.
And maybe even have copies available at the library that they could pick up if they were in.
Councilor, we can do that. Obviously, we're hearing a lot of the same questions, and we can try to address those and make those available in a variety of ways, but especially on the city's website. We also, I think, people have a lot of questions and want answers. Staff is available to answer those questions. A lot of this is the process and legality. So Julia, our Community Development Director, is probably going to be the key person. You'll see on the website that she's the person to call with questions. If she can't answer it, if it's something different, like taxes, that might get referred to me or the Finance Director. I think we can try to hold some forums as well and invite the public in to answer some of those questions that really are more for staff to answer rather than you as the elected officials. there's an education process here, and we can do that. I think we're taking good notes here and trying to listen to folks and what their concerns are. And this group represents, there's probably lots of other people out here feeling the same way. So we'll try to do the best we can to get that out to folks.
Yeah, and we could start with how you actually start the process, like changing your zoning and moving all the way through. And I'm willing to give up my monthly column in the newsletter if you'd like to use it. So
Yeah.
We can do that.
So while we have, I know we have a couple more. I just wanted to echo what the mayor said a minute ago. We appreciate democracy in action, and this is America at its best.
Naomi?
Hello, my name is Naomi Belov, 22741 Southwest Lincoln Street in Sherwood. So I moved here about a year and a half ago from the Boston area, and we were really impressed by Sherwood's website. And one of the things that really attracted us make this town what it is. So thank you. And I would just like to ask Matt Langer, I know you plan to live here, you know, probably for the rest of your time. Your family seems to be an integrated part of the community, and to do all that you can to make it a community that you feel integrated in your relationships and your, not only your personal relationships, but your business interactions with people, because that's what makes this town what it is. And also, my kids asked me to speak, so I'm speaking on behalf of them. They said, Mom, say things like, you know, Walmart's terrible, whatever. So whatever, I know you guys all know exactly what Walmart is. But one thing I'd like to encourage is that everybody who's here needs to stay in touch. And there's a Facebook page called Keep Walmart Out of Sherwood. So that's all I'd like to say. Thank you.
Thank you. I have one little comment to say. It has nothing to do with this. Her children are the ones that started the Solve Trash Pickup, and it was a wonderful success, and I thank the children for doing that.
I just have to say as well, Naomi's husband is a Linfield musical director, and I said, how's he doing? Oh, he's at Carnegie Hall this week.
Wow. Lynn Snyder?
Good evening. My name is Lynn Snyder, 15085 Southwest High Point Drive. I've been here for about 10 years. Serve on the Parks Board for about the last 2-3 years. Love the community. What I like about it is how much we've invested in the community. I mean, you look around, you've got a new park, Cannery Square, which Bill or Councilman Butterfield was integral in bringing on board and put a lot of time into. We have a new cultural arts center coming in. We passed a $100 billion, $1 million bond in 2006, 2007 to pay for our schools. That's a big investment in our community. Those are big dollars that we have all put into it through our, not only time and our property taxes, but in organizing and input. My question is, I mean, we have a very good public safety program here. You were the chief of police not too long ago. We have a new chief of police here. We have a new city manager. We've put a lot of resources into this community. What we haven't done in this case, I just found out tonight that we're 6 weeks out from groundbreaking. That's a quick turnaround time. And there's a big difference. You can't tell the impact just by the zoning of what's going to take place. I mean, there's a big difference. You can have zone for retail, and I'm not a developer, so I don't know the ins and outs, but you can zone one way. You could have a Walmart, you could have a Costco, you could have a Trader Joe's, you could have a bowling alley. All of those are significantly different impacts on the community. We don't have time to study that. Not only do we not have time to study that in 6 weeks, how that's going to affect all of our investments, how that's going to affect our schools, how that's going to affect public safety, which is already stretched. And then the second question is, not only do we not have time to study that impact, who's going to pay for that study? Do we pay for that study? Does Walmart pay for that study? And it's a big question. And do we have time to pay for that study? And so I guess my question is, is there I think Dan Edelstein brought up the fact, is there a roundtable where we can have some give and take and have some of those questions answered, or at least propose questions that we would like answered back from our elected officials who are representing us tonight? We don't have time to get anything on a ballot to affect that. The ballots, any ballot measure, we're going through a ballot measure right now. That window has passed. There's not going to be another one for another, 6 months. So we don't have any forum to discuss that other than tonight. So I guess my question to you is, is a call to action to council members to come back to the community who elected you and really answer some of these questions and give us some feedback on what can be done. Someone shared with me, Councilmember Clark, that you put a nice post on your Facebook, so thank you for doing that, just saying, here's what's happening tonight. We do have a Walmart coming to town, but we legally don't have a right to say who comes to that property. You're right, we don't have a right to that, but we do have a right to study the impact as taxpayers because it's going to affect us, either in the money that we have to pay out in higher taxes or the services that we give up because the taxpayer dollars that we are paying have to go to public safety and now are diverted away from parks or other items. So we're going to pay for it one way or another. We just don't know how we're going to pay for that or what we have to pay for. So thank you.
Patricia Lyon.
Good evening. My name is Patricia Lyon. I live at 15171 Southwest Ginkgo Court. I'm not going to say anything new. You've heard about the impact that Walmart does have on a community. The thing that I was kind of puzzled about, though, I didn't see anything on a traffic study, how it's going to affect the traffic, what study was made. Are there going to be new roads built? If they're built, who's building them? Those are tax-paying dollars. And I was asked the question, what's the difference between Target and Walmart? And what does it matter? Well, if we spent more time on helping our local businesses, on not having them pay astronomical prices just to start a business here in Sherwood, we would have a lot more small businesses. And those small business dollars go to the schools. They're the ones that just write a check instead of going through corporate and waiting 2 months or 3 months to get maybe $5 per kid. So, when I saw, and I too heard the rumors, I too was like, no, everybody's, they're trying to fight it. I'm sure it won't come in here, but there it is. So I also am going to do everything in my marketing, networking power to make sure that this is stopped. Because I'll be damned if I'm going to pay extra taxes to clean up a dang parking lot, instead of give it to kids who need it in the education, which our funds are $1.8 million cut this year. That's all I have to say.
Thank you. Kathy, I believe is it Trod or Todd?
Hi, my name is Kathy Michaud-Trad, and I live at 22136 Southwest Hall Street. I've lived in Sherwood since 1978, when my husband and I got into town. An hour later, the town knew. And yeah, we were from Massachusetts. They saw our plates. And we raised 2 children here. They're adults. They're not moving to Sherwood. They both posted stuff today saying, we're not coming back, because of Walmart. I don't shop at these box stores. I shop at the local stores. I hang my clothes on a clothesline. We live a pretty simple life. I am concerned that people will not have that ability. I'm concerned about the traffic that is being routed to 99 because supposedly Walmart's paying for that road. So we'll have another light on Sherwood to Tualatin. But who's going to go out that way when you can come down the new Parkway, Adams Ave, whatever the name is, and go down by my street on Oregon Street? I live 3 houses from there. I'll never get out. They're not going to go down 99, which goes by the refuge. What are you going to do with that traffic? I'm worried about the layoffs of our local people that live here and have always lived here. We have generations of people that work at Albertsons, and somebody already got their hours cut because of Target introducing produce. I'm concerned about downtown and our local businesses. We're paying that money. People aren't going to drive through to come downtown to spend, to park. And I think it's kind of ridiculous that there was no public hearing, that there was no more information, and that the educational process on this particular project didn't happen earlier. Thank you.
Thank you. Brian Smith.
Good evening. My name is Brian Smith. I live at 21037 Southwest Houston Drive in Sherwood. My family and I moved here in 2006 because of the family atmosphere. And I was really excited to be able to move to Sherwood. I had a very small town feel, just like where I grew up in Sutherland, Oregon, down south. I had reservations about talking tonight, but I manage a small Facebook page, and it's called the Sherwood Concerned Citizens, something like that. And I felt that it would be doing them a disservice to not show up and speak for them. Last night when I found out about the Walmart actually officially being coming to Sherwood, I made a quick post, and within 24 hours, I've had a 50% increase in following. Overwhelmingly, people are dissatisfied with the fact that Walmart is coming here. And I think that it's very important that the city council takes that into account with how they move forward in the next 6 weeks and how they publicize Walmart coming to Sherwood. So far, things have been marketed seemingly in a very positive light for Walmart. Somebody earlier was saying, have there been studies done regarding the impact of Walmarts on communities? And there have. There's a Harvard review, I believe, study that was done, and overwhelmingly, Walmarts negatively impact the communities that they come into. It's shown that once a Walmart comes in, local businesses do shut down, and that business moves on. The wages that Walmart pays people is not going to help the economy of Sherwood, or anywhere for that matter. So with that, I've got a lot of time left, but I'm going to leave it at that. I think that it's very important that this community come together, and the city council as leaders and the planning commission should do their part in partnering with the citizens on this. Thank you.
Thank you. Wendy Malcolmson.
Hi, my name is Wendy Malcolmson, 22424 Southwest Washington Street, and I'm in one of the old historic homes in Old Town, and coincidentally, the Facebook page that someone said that they had just created that said "Keep Walmart Out of Sherwood" my daughter had written in the back of the room earlier tonight. So she's 5. Anyway, I grew up in a small town, and Christiana and Linda, I think you guys both know my sister, Sally and Kathy. We grew up in a small town called Junction City, the home of the Scandinavian Festival, and also the RV capital of the world. And it was a fantastic small town to grow up in, and I finally moved to Sherwood just a few months ago. And what really attracted me here was just the sense of community and the quaint small town feel. It feels like you can step back in time 50 years. I mean, it's just, my nephews were in town from Florida last week, and I gave them a little tour of downtown. They were like, "This is the coolest place to live." And I said, "I know, isn't it great?" And I said, "It's such a great family town." And it's sad to me that companies like Walmart are coming in, and we all know about their background and what they do to the city, and it just is really distressing as a new citizen of Sherwood to think about the impact that that's going to have on my 5-year-old. And I don't know, I haven't heard anybody else bring it up, but there is a Walmart going into Tigard. So aside from whether Walmart is a good fit for Sherwood, is also what is the necessity. I mean, we obviously have several big box stores already here, and if someone wanted to go to Walmart, they can go to Tigard, where I lived for many years, and I'm opposed to that as well. But at least they have one down the road that they can go to, so it's entirely unnecessary. And I just wanted to thank all of you for your service to the city, and just remind you that despite whatever regulatory things prevent you guys from acting however you would otherwise act if you had a choice, you guys are in such a tremendous position of power, and I just hope that you guys are able to see that this isn't a good choice for our community. So, thanks.
I want to remind anybody who wants to be on the mailing list for the community development director, please go ahead and we'll give a paper around so that you can contact or put your, we can also take written comments to her too. So if you have questions, please feel free. The next person is Jacob Frinsa.
My name is Jacob Feenstra. I live at 23933 Southwest Scott Ridge Terrace. I'll try and keep it short and sweet. I'm not going to try and reiterate what everyone else has said, but just listening to all these tonight, you know, I've kind of come to a conclusion. I grew up in a town about this size, then lived in Southern California for some years after college and came back here, and it felt like the town I grew up in, about 15,000 people. And just listening to this, I reflect on it. It seems like the rules of the way this went down is you couldn't reveal who the box store was, and that might have been how it played out. But I can't imagine as a city and as council members that someone, some way along the line, didn't have the power and the ability to sway that or change that or make people more aware, to have voices heard further or sooner in this process. The town I grew up in, they had a box store or a square foot cap. I can't imagine we can't do that. There's no upside. I can't think of an upside here. What's the upside? People competing with Safeway, great store, Albertsons, Home Depot, Les Schwab even. I can't imagine that those retailers aren't concerned. And they're already here. It's too bad a scrapbook store goes away. A nice little place, simple, place for mom to hang out, get your stuff. But I think from what I'm hearing in the background, as council members and as citizens, we need to talk. Why not have a square foot cap, 45,000 square feet, 80,000? At least then, if we don't know who's coming in, it limits the Walmarts from coming here, which it sounds like the majority don't want. And I think that needs to be considered. If we can change something now, obviously I'm in favor of pursuing that, and I'd support it as much as possible. But at least in the future, it sounds to me like we're all here because it's a small town. We're quaint. My kids go to Archer Glen. great school, great teachers. I hope that continues. I hope it doesn't dwindle with a big box store coming in. And the citizens, if we want to keep this a small, quaint place, then council members, citizens, we all need to sit down and say, we don't want these kind of stores here. We want a square foot cap. We don't want these types of stores here, and that's it. It's not because we're too good for it, but we care about our kids in a small community more, and that's important. That's how we live. And beyond that, I appreciate you guys' time tonight and staying up late.
Thank you very much. Taran Stuckey is Taryn, sorry.
That's okay. Nobody gets it right. I forgive you.
Stuckey, that's that store that used to be on all the freeways. Yeah,
Sure.
Blue Roof.
So, I, like a lot of other people, wasn't expecting to talk tonight. But as a
Name
mom,
and address, please.
Oh, sorry. My name is Taryn Stuckey. I live at 16506 Southwest Travis Court. My feelings are that people always say if you don't vote, you don't have a say. Well, I get to vote and I still didn't have a say. And if I don't talk, then I can't tell you what I'm feeling. So that's why I sat through this meeting tonight. I didn't get to put my kids to bed. Somebody else did that because it was on my heart to be here. And before I ramble, I just want to read you something that I put on Facebook and got a lot of feedback to. But I'm really upset about a Walmart coming to my town, especially across from a well-established Target store that my kids love to go to, and they know the cashiers by name, and they get stickers when they walk out the door. Hello crime, hello traffic, goodbye Sherwood, goodbye small town feel, goodbye my kids can play out in my cul-de-sac and not get hit by a car, goodbye my sense of security. That's what I feel. I think that the worst thing that Sherwood could have brought was a Walmart. What about a Dick's Sports? We pride ourselves on being the best sports community. We have a 5A football all-star team, girls soccer team. My kids play sports. My husband coaches sports. A Dick's would have been great. I was really sad to see G.I. Joes go. I lived here since 2006. And why not support our youth by putting in something that's going to help them, not something that's going to hinder them? When we moved here, it was everything that we wanted. It was great schools, low crime, low traffic, close to both of our jobs. And we looked at houses in Wilsonville, and right now, maybe in 6 weeks, we might go back to Wilsonville because Wilsonville doesn't have a Walmart. Wilsonville has a sense of community and a sense of pride in the same darn school system, close to the same darn school system, and I can let my kids play in the cul-de-sac and not worry about getting hit by a car. I can put my son in football, and he'll have a great time. I don't have to worry about going to Walmart, having somebody break into my car, or watching my kids, leaving my dog outside and somebody stealing them. That's just not Sherwood. Sherwood is a community of residents who come together to support each other, their families, their sons, daughters. They go to their education. They put on book nights. They put on game nights. They put on carnivals. That's not Walmart feel. I moved here from Southeast Portland. I know what Walmart feel is. I lived on 62nd and King Road. I got B out of H as fast as I could because I had kids that needed and wanted more. And I will not support Walmart ever.
Thank you. Wade Anderson.
Hello. I think I was back with you guys a few months ago on other items. So mine actually is just kind of more a couple general items on it in specific. And one is, and I sent a note on to the city earlier today, with the change of this, I wasn't aware, and maybe it was I hadn't looked through the paperwork that was out on the website until, it's way buried in some of these documents about this site, is with it being called Sherwood Town Center. And as you know, I've near and dear to me is the whole study we're doing around the town center that's specifically out here along Sherwood Boulevard, and I'm in Glen Eagle, 16513 Southwest Glen Eagle, here in Sherwood. And that area and the impact with this, as far as with that, I don't think it's meant that way, but it almost seems cynical to call it, Sherwood Town Center when this is the town center where we're at right now. And so at minimum, even on the site for anything, it seems to me you've got enough power to at least have the name not be what we are in Sherwood, and this is town center that we're in right now. And I can't believe that there's some legal thing that can prevent that from being changed. The second part is folks have talked about dollars and other things that have been given to the community over this last year, and $100 million towards the schools, and I voted in favor of that as well during that time. And I know that there would be potential breach of contract. I know there'd be potential of lawsuits against the city, but there could be considerations that we could do. Maybe a bond is to say, let's take this, let's talk about it, let's vote about it as citizens to change the zoning of that particular area, turn it into urban reserve, put in the escape park that folks have always talked about, use it for some other use. There isn't something that requires that. The benefit you get there too is that the family that had committed the dollars, has made the investment in the land, still has the chance to get those dollars. So they'll still get the dollars they would have gotten from the developer, would have gotten from Walmart, but it would be instead from the citizens here. And so it's just something to consider. I don't know if it's possible. I realize there's ramifications for that if we were going down that. And I also realize these are discussions that should have been done in 2005, not tonight when we're down in the last moment of where these things have kind of run down the track. But it does seem like an option, and it does seem that something the community would support. Not a great place for a park right next to 12 and Sherwood Road, but at least it would give an option for that to stay as urban reserve, and it would minimize any additional traffic impacts. Thank you.
Thank you. That's the last public comment form I have. I want to thank you all for coming and bringing forward your concerns. And we do listen. We do pass it on to staff, and we really do appreciate public comment. So please, please get involved in Sherwood. There's all sorts of ways you can get involved. Read the website, read the newsletter, but get involved.
I just want to say that about, Linda, when was the blue light pole discussion? 10 years ago. There's a moral to this story. I remember sitting where all of you were, and I was trembling in my boots, and it was not quite as full, but really close. And I came up and I testified, and it moved me to ultimately run for city council. And if this process inspires any of you, 3 of us ran unopposed last fall, and this is a good place for you to learn. It has been a wonderful educational process for me to understand and really take a great deal of pride in my citizenship. And I hope that I'm a much better citizen because I've learned about civics in a way I never could have. So I appreciate more than you will ever know how terrifying it was for many of you, how emotional it is, but I'm very, very grateful. And I think there is very few things that is more important than being involved in your community, and it is absolutely what makes Sherwood great.
Mayor, I just want you to know that we as a council are committed to listening. We encourage it, and once we listen to what you have to say, we are going to seriously ponder it and then try to come to some kind of resolution. So that's a commitment. That's from me, but I know that the rest of us here are committed as well.
Thanks. I was just asking permission to speak. I really appreciate all the input and discussion tonight. You guys lobbed some big ones at me, and it was tough to sit here and take it, but I totally understand. If I was sitting in your shoes with the information that you have, I'd probably do the exact same thing. At the same time, though, I'll tell you that we've worked on this for many years, And we tried our darndest to get all kinds of different folks. And I'll tell you, I'd love to have Trader Joe's too, but you know what? They're too small for that particular piece of property, and we've got a spot picked out for them, and we've been trying to call them for years, but they won't even return our calls. And we want them in this town too. And if you can put together a Facebook page, I think there already is one. Bring Trader Joe's to Sherwood. I think I've liked it a couple years ago, and we're constantly working on that. Keep in mind, we've got another 28-acre parcel south of this that we're already working on. I heard you guys mention some retailers out there. They're already in process of working on bringing some of the ones you guys named. And then we've got another 5-acre piece right across the street. And that stuff's already kind of lining up too, because Sherwood is such a strong community. All these retailers see how strong of a community Sherwood is, and they want to be here. And we want to make sure that it's a good, responsible, well-designed project. And I can tell you this, that I know there's some people involved, and I've heard this quote that in 23 years they've never seen a Walmart like this. And so I realize you don't have all the information. You haven't seen the design, the architecture, and all that, and the landscaping. But this one's special, and we worked on it hard. I hear the laughing. I understand. I know exactly what that means, but I'll gladly talk to you one-on-one. I hope I get a chance to speak to some of you.
You know what? Some of us were polite when you were up there talking. When the chief was up there talking, when these gals were up there talking, I didn't say a damn thing. Please, let's just keep this in. Okay, we all understand it's a very emotional issue, and I appreciate everybody. And I really thank Matt for showing up. That took some courage there, too. You may agree or disagree, but I want to thank everybody for keeping it civil. I think we did a wonderful job tonight, and I really appreciate your input. Unfortunately now, did any other council want to talk? We have to go to another issue. Oh, go ahead.
I had something to say. I want to also mimic what Robin said. I really appreciate everyone coming out. I have my own personal feeling about the project, but I want to say that all of us want to hear what you have to say, because we do want to represent you. And we also give up in order to be here. I don't own a big swath of land that I'll be developing. I only want to serve the public. I have 2 children at home tonight that I pay a babysitter for the privilege of serving you, because as most of you know, I'm a widow. And so I think that to come forward and to say, I don't want Walmart here, I can't say that I disagree with that. I don't want Walmart here either. I did my senior thesis on Target. I happen to be a huge Target supporter, but that's my personal opinion. And we do have to follow the codes. Is there something we can do? I don't know. But if there's something we can do, I will like Facebook on it, because I agree with that piece. So I appreciate hearing from you. I want to hear from others that maybe didn't have an opportunity to come today. But be part of the civic process. Come to the meetings and tell us what you think. And that's what makes Sherwood great. And that's why I moved here too. And that's why I'm willing to serve and be here tonight as well. So I thank you for that.
My last comment. Thank you all again. Come anytime. Bring the process forward. We love to hear from you. We're going under new business now, and it's a resolution 2013-022 authorizing the city manager to execute a construction contract for the Tonquin Employment Area Sanitary Upgrade Project.
Should I wait for people to clear out?
No. Okay.
Go ahead.
Okay. Craig Christensen. I'm an engineering associate 2 with the city of Sherwood.
Please speak up.
Okay.
Can't hear you.
Thank you. I'm bringing forth resolution 2013-022, which is to.
Is your mic on?
Oh. Okay. Okay. I'm bringing forth Resolution 2013-022 for to authorize the city manager to execute a contract for the construction of the Tonkin Employment Area Sanitary Upgrade Project. As of last November, the Tonkin Employment Area was accepted for annexation into the city by ballot, and as part of that, the sewer services that go to that site are needed to be upgraded. Currently, there exists a 10-inch and an 8-inch sanitary sewer that runs from Rock Creek, runs along the southeastern side of the railroad tracks, and along the south side 12th and Sherwood Road. That currently serves the industrial property on the south side of 12th and Sherwood Road and on the north side, and will also serve the northern portion of the new Tonkin Employment Area. However, this existing sewer line is not adequately sized for the new industrial area. Therefore, we need to upgrade the size of the sanitary sewer to accommodate the new industrial development. Currently, the existing 10-inch line will be upsized to a 15-inch, and the 8-inch will be upsized to a 12-inch line. This will be done through pipe bursting and open trenching processes. City has worked with the property owners on the south side 12th and Sherwood Road, and we worked with them in developing the design plans and took their input and implemented it into the plans. After the construction of the project is complete, we will be replanting the wetlands and vegetated corridor to put it back into a natural condition. This project went through an open bid process. The low bidder was Northwest Kodiak Construction, and with a construction cost of $698,491.97. As part of this, we're looking for a 15% contingencies to account for any unforeseen issues that we may encounter during construction. Due to the need of this project, they're requesting the approval of this resolution.
Council comments?
Bob, what kind of a contract do you have with Kodiak?
It's a standard construction contract, open bidding. In particular, what are you looking for?
Is the city the engineering firm, or?
The city is the engineering firm. Craig actually did the design in-house, and we had peer review, and all the contracts have gone through city attorney reviews, but this is an in-house design.
Okay, thank you.
Further council comments?
If I may, before you continue, we have one whereas item on the resolution that is incorrect, communication-wise. It is the second whereas. Whereas the city is budgeted and will temporarily pay for construction costs through the City of Sherwood system development charges, with 100% of the construction cost being reimbursed by Clean Water Services system development charges. That should be changed to whereas the city has budgeted the full cost of the project and will be reimbursed approximately 60% of those project costs pursuant to an intergovernmental agreement being negotiated with Clean Water Services. That is sort of the standard with these projects. When we upgrade projects, there's a certain size limitation, things like that, that are the city's responsibility. It's a 60-40 split. This is basically their cost is 60% of this. So the resolution should be modified to match this language.
So we'll be voting on an amended resolution.
Correct.
What was the second half of your change?
The change is whereas the city has budgeted the full cost of the project and will be reimbursed approximately 60% of those project costs pursuant to an intergovernmental agreement being negotiated with Clean Water Services. And it continues on.
If council is accepting to the language that Bob has presented, you'll need to have a motion and a second to amend the resolution, and then a motion and a second to adopt the amended resolution. And you may amend or accept that amendment based on Bob's comment, if no one wrote it down, which I don't think
I tried to write it down.
Any further comments?
I move that Linda make that motion. I'm so tired.
You want me
practice.
to read it? Okay. Read that thing. I move we adopt an amended resolution 2013-022, and my amendment is in the second whereas where it should read, whereas the city has budgeted the full cost of the project and will be reimbursed approximately 60% of those project costs pursuant an intergovernmental agreement being negotiated with Clean Water Services.
I second.
Is that
Thank you. Yes, then
No.
Mayor, just call for the vote on the amendment.
call for a vote on them? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Now the second motion to call for a vote on. Go ahead. You
Call
said.
for a second, a motion and a second on the amended resolution.
Call for a motion.
I move that we adopt resolution 2013-022
As
as amended.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Thank you.
City manager report.
Mayor and Council, the only thing I want to remind folks, especially for the folks that are here, is this on now? Okay. It seems backwards. We just finished up the budget committee process, so the next step will be City Council at the June 4th meeting, which is your first meeting in June. You'll have a public hearing, and the council will consider the proposed budget as recommended by the budget committee. So that is the next process. There is a public hearing process, so the public can come in and comment. That's the last step in the normal budget approval process. We have to have an approved budget by June 30th per state law for the new fiscal year. So I just want to let folks know that it now comes back to you as the council. You have the final say on the budget. So
You said, I might have misunderstood. It's July 1st, correct?
June
4th. June 4th.
Yes.
Correct.
Yep. Our new fiscal year is July 1st, which is why we have to pass a budget by June 30th. So, any questions for myself or staff?
Any staff have any reports that they want to bring forward? No? Council announcements.
I have one. First, I want to just thank the Budget Committee publicly, and I know Yvonne, our chair, is sitting there. Thank you for the process. I really appreciate your time. We are also hosting, the Sherwood Foundation for the Arts is hosting their first annual Altered Arts Festival at Veterans Park, June 1st, from 10 to 5. There are going to be over 25 vendors, and Altered Arts are something that is altered for a different purpose, and so it's a really unique take on the arts, and it's going to be fabulous. There will be music all day, 10 to 20 minute demonstrations of art throughout the day, as well as many of the VPA choirs, and hopefully some of the school choirs and bands will be there. So it'll be lots of fun. 10 to 5, June 1st, Veterans Park, and Saturday's market is open for business in Cannery Plaza.
And it was crowded this week.
It was. It was good.
Any other council comments? Mr. Langer?
All right, I've got an update from the Y. As of December 9th, 2012, Sherwood Y has approximately $285,106 in the funds for deferred maintenance. In 2013, they have the following projects listed to be taken care of. Painting is needed in many places and can be done on a regular basis. It's a good idea to let members see you doing improvements throughout the year. Number 2, 16 more cameras to the security system, approximately a cost of $5,000. Now, number 3, carpet needs to be replaced on the main level, and that's in process now. Number 4, a new ADA lift for the pool, approximately cost of $6,000. Number 5, a gym net divider. Number 6, 4 basketball hoops. Number 7, an ADA door for teen center, approximately $2,500. Number 7, a slide pump for about $3,300. Number 8, some cardio equipment for $20,000. And number 9, signage for the facility. And as a reminder, there will be a shutdown for this work for 1 week for the full facility. So put this on your calendars, August 31st through September 8th. That's 1 full week. And then there will be a 2 full week shutdown for the pool, August 24th to September 8th.
Thank you. I've been remiss because we've been tied up with the budget and some other issues, but we will be asking for all these council members who are on boards to bring forward any kind of information to the public during our comments and announcements. So it's something we will be starting. With that, anything else? We're adjourned.